A Bad Day for Nimbus Girl by Past the Limit. Look up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! Oh wait, it's just a bird. But wait! Above that bird, is that... It is! It's Nimbus Girl! Above the small town of Indigo City flew a heroine in a leotard with a symbol of a large cloud on the front. She had made sure her outfit also had a fair bit of cleavage showing, as apparently that was what was all the rage with current superhuman females. Her blonde hair propelled back behind her as the wind pushed against her masked face. She was just an ordinary meteorologist by morning, but by afternoon, the town of Indigo City knew her as Nimbus Girl. She had developed the powers of flight when a physics lab gave many people of the city superhuman abilities one day. And while still new to the job, she was determined to stop any supervillains that attempted to do harm. The current day had been a fairly quiet day, nothing too out of the ordinary. She had done her daily sweep of the city and had only saved the cat in a tree. She was deciding about calling it a day before her police scanner earpiece went off.
Attention! We need units at the power plant this instant. Madam Leach is attacking the facility,
Came a voice blaring out of her earpiece. Nimbus Girl halted her flight in midair and swung her head left and right, gathering her surroundings before blasting off at supersonic speed in the direction of the power plant. Finally, a true villain she could fight! Oh, when will you feeble humans learn? You can't hurt me! Madam Leach said as the police fired their rounds at the 6-foot-tall woman. She had short, dirty blonde hair and sunglasses on as she took heavy steps towards the guards of the power plant. Their bullets, however, either were absorbed by her thick, sleeveless army vest above her dark cargo pants, or bounced harmlessly off her skin. When she had gotten close enough, she delivered 2 swift kicks to each guard with her combat boots on, rendering them unconscious. Madam Leach then approached the electric generator in the power plant and smiled as she raised her hand and focused, causing some of the electricity to shoot off and hit her palm. Yet, instead of injuring the supervillain, she instead grew a few inches and appeared a bit heftier. Her body swelled with energy, and then she pulled her hand away and breathed in. She clenched her fist and grinned at her new strength that the electricity had granted her. As she was waiting to feed off of it again, she heard a pair of doors fly open and a pair of boots land on the ground behind her. "Leech, I presume?" Nimbus Girl said, putting her hands on her hips with her chest sticking out proudly. "Why, yes. And you're that not-so-famous Nimbus Girl. I've been waiting to fight you," Madam Leach said, turning around. She then quickly lunged forward with her fists, striking Nimbus Girl on the cheek and sending her flying into a stack of cardboard boxes. Madam Leach smirked as she took a few steps towards the pile of boxes before Nimbus Girl came flying out in a forceful tackle, crashing into Madam Leach and making her do a backward somersault. "See? You're not so tough," Nimbus Girl mocked with a slight grin. "What? You don't think I'm tough? Well, just you wait," Madam Leach said, hopping up with her arm out as more lightning shot out of the generator and powered her up further. She gained another inch in height as the electricity surged into her, and her body started to grow less muscular and more plump and heavy. Her cleavage started to push out over the top of her vest, with her belly following suit, with a belly roll right under it. Her arms and legs grew thicker, and her face rounder. Even her rear started to grow wider and stick out more before she stopped absorbing the power source. Gaze upon my might! Madame Leach screamed as she swung a slow slamming fist down upon Nimbus Girl, whose quick feet narrowly avoided the punch. Leach instead hit the ground with a shattering blow, leaving a massive hole where Nimbus was previously standing. She then took a step forward and swung again and then again. Each time with Nimbus managing to dodge the slow but extremely powerful attacks. When Leech then tried a sneaky leg sweep, Nimbus flew up high to avoid it, and followed with a supersonic kick in the air that struck Leech in the face, causing her to stumble back. "The only thing mighty I see is your prison sentence," Nimbus Girl said with a grin and her arms crossed. "Oh yeah, I know that comeback," she thought in her head. "Do you think there is a prison that can hold me?" Madame Leach bellowed, raising her hand yet again to absorb even more electricity. "I will become so powerful, your blows will do nothing against me. Nothing!" Leech continued to scream as her body took in the energy and converted it to body mass. However, this time, instead of putting her hand down, she kept it up and continued attacking Nimbus Girl while boosting her strength. "No prison can hold my might. Nothing can hold me back!" Leech bellowed as she swung a left hook at Nimbus, who blocked it, but was still sent flying back into the wall. Leech proceeded to keep her arm up, and the electricity constantly entered her body non-stop, making her even larger. Her body started to bloat up, looking just plain fat now. The villain's muscles seemed to have been stimulated all they could, and now her body was storing the excess energy as fat inside her. Her breasts strained her vest as they expanded with energy, with the tops of her nipples becoming slightly visible, and they pushed out over the outfit. Her arms and legs grew thicker and heavier, and her butt started to push against her once loose cargo pants, so that the fabric was beginning to creak. However, the biggest aspect of her growth was her midsection, which was seemingly taking a brunt of the absorption. It swelled more globular and round, and her vest rose so that her deep belly button was now visible. Her love handles pushed out of the sides, and her back fat oozed out as well. Despite this, she kept her arm up and continued to absorb more, determined to squash the hero, the annoying hero. "I will take all the energy from the city, and then the next, and the next, I will become a god," Leech said, caught up in her monologue as she developed a waddle walking towards the hero. She was becoming slower and slower with how big her body was growing, but she continued to absorb it. With another heavy step, Madame Leach's combat boots creaked before splitting down the sides as a wide, heavy, barefoot busted out of each combat boot. The villain now left giant footprint impressions on the floor as her heavy giant bare feet crushed the floor. She began to waddle slower and slower from how much energy was entering her stomach, and started to pulsate oddly. Finally, making her stop walking and stand still. "That was weird," Madame Leach said, as her body swelled and started to throb again. A tearing sound was then heard as Leach's vest ripped and tore off her body, leaving her standing with her breasts exposed and hanging down on the slopes of her boulder of an engorged gut. Leach's legs had grown so fat and thick that she was having trouble moving them, with her toes even fatter, to the point that each was as big as Nimbus Girl's fists. Her arms rested on her newly expanded sides as she looked around in confusion. Her new double chin wobbled as she shook her head, trying to figure out what had gone wrong. She felt her body grow extremely rotund, so round that she was as big as a car. She tried to put her arm down, but her belly and her fat sides had swollen up so much that the fat locked her arm in the energy position stance.
"Oh, Nimbus Girl, help! I think I absorbed too much."
Madame Leach spoke in a panic as she blew up larger and meatier. The topless, overweight villain couldn't stop her growth and realized the predicament she was in. Nimbus Girl rubbed her head from the blow that she sustained earlier and gazed upon the dangerously filled bomb of a woman in front of her. She took a step back as Madame Leach's body continued to grow rounder with electric fat. She was an immense mountain of a woman now, looking as if she was about to blow. Nimbus Girl hesitated and then flew straight up and out of the window of the power plant to gain a safe distance and look down below. Madame Leach struggled to move again, but it was useless. She fed too much. She slapped her arms against her bloated body in hopelessness. The stream of electricity crackled and continued to fill the villain up to the maximum her body could contain.
"I can't hold it in! Ah!"
The villain then suddenly screamed as her belly suddenly surged outward greatly before erupting with a and with an explosion of light and electricity following. Nimbus Girl shielded her eyes from the light, and after saw the darkened, round silhouette that was left of Madame Leach on the floor of the power plant.
"Oh no! Heroes aren't supposed to kill the villains!"
Nimbus Girl said, worried about how the public may see her. Before she can grieve too much, she overheard her police earpiece send another broadcast.
"Dr. Port has been spotted downtown, destroying a museum. She appears to have developed some kind of teleportation gun, so be careful to anyone engaging her."
The earpiece shot out. Determined to do better this time, Nimbus Girl blasted off in the direction of the museum.